All right, so welcome, Elaine, back to the Zoom room. So let's jump into our teaching for today, which is lesson to do, a daily quote. We'll have a look at that, and then we'll have some time to do the today's section of the purpose processes and practices, purpose process and practices of psychotherapy supplement to Course in Miracles. Okay, so. All right. Let's share my screen then. Yeah, so if you can read that quote, which is from the Bible, the Gospel of Matthew, direct quote from Yeshua.
Ask it will be given to you. Seek, you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened.
Yeah, which is very appropriate given what we just discussed. So Yeshua's saying to us, keep asking. Tells us to ask the Holy Spirit. Or you can use the inner guide. Your inner guide, your higher self, your intuition that remembers perfect love for help when you need it, and it assures you that you will receive the guidance you need when you ask for it. This advice, even the language he uses sounds familiar. It's because other spiritual teachers I've quoted recently used very similar language. For example, Joseph Campbell, who remember discovered and formulated the hero's journey based on his studies of the myths and legends of many seemingly different cultures, religions, philosophies, and spiritual traditions, talks about the power of following your bliss, a term he used to refer to an inspired purpose that activates a flow, positive, helpful energy in the hero's or heroine's life. It's quote. If you want to read that, follow your bliss.
Follow your bliss. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life you ought to be living is the one you are living. When you can see that, you begin to meet people who are in the field of your bliss, and they open the doors to you. I say, follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. If you follow your bliss, doors will open for you that wouldn't have opened for anyone else.
Yeah, Joseph Campbell. So the same idea. You listen to guidance, you follow your bliss. That's the way he terms it. And even uses the same metaphor, doors. Knock and the door will be opened. Doors will open for you that wouldn't have opened for anyone else. So it's following the guidance, inner guidance, which will tell you exactly where to go, what to do. And if you do, then you're in flow. Carl Jung, who's the pioneering Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, invented the word synchronicity to describe this flow of helpful energy. But it's logically inexplicable. The dictionary definition of the word synchronicity is simultaneous occurrence of events that appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. So there's a connection, but there's no obvious connection, in other words. So, I mean, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, someone sends me an opportunity to invest. Wow. Sorry. You're going to struggle to hear me over that. It's an opportunity to invest in a mine, a chrome mine. And then today, someone messages me and says, "Oh, you don't by any chance have a Chrome mine to invest in?" Now, there's no apparent causal connection between those two events because they, come from different people. But the fact that they happen within 24 hours, you have to go, okay, there's some kind of relation, even though no obvious causal connection. That's what synchronicity means. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi quite aptly flow. It's a flow, and it feels quite, flowing and smooth. It's not stuck and difficult. Whenever you feel stuck, then that's the opposite of flow. So flow, synchronicity, miracles, just another word for what Yeshua calls miracles in A Course in Miracles. And according to Deepak Chopra, it's one of the two symptoms of enlightenment in Vedanta, which is one of the 6 schools of Hindu philosophy derived from the Vedas, the most ancient teachings of India. So if you can read that quote where he just explains that.
According to Vedanta, there are only 2 systems.
Two symptoms.
Symptoms
Two
of
symptoms, Elaine.
Only 2 symptoms
Enlightenment.
of enlightenment, yeah. Just 2 indications that a transformation is taking place within you toward a higher consciousness. The first symptom is that you stop worrying. Things don't bother you anymore. You become light-hearted and full of joy. The second symptom is that you encounter more and more meaningful coincidence in your life, more and more synchronicities, and this accelerates to the point where you actually experience the miraculous.
Yeah. So, lovely quote. He's saying these synchronicities are part and parcel of this awakening journey. Firstly, you stop worrying so much. First symptoms, lack of the compulsive worry, the anxiety that plagues so many people. Because worry takes your awareness away from the present moment, makes both the past and the future real in your mind. So it attaches you to the timeline the ego has invented and blocks your awareness of eternity, which is the gateway to which in this world is the now, as this diagram showing the timeline of consciousness illustrates. So above the timeline of time and space and all the drama that happens lies the eternal truth of who and what you really are. And that is timeless. It's not affected by time at all. It's there no matter what seems to happen in time. So as the diagram shows, worrying about the future is really just another part of the death wish. That is the ego, because worrying continuously keeps your mind bound to time. You're continuously looking ahead on the timeline, and obviously it eventually ends at death. Timeline always leads to death in the end. By contrast, the Holy Spirit, or the remembrance of perfect love, helps you to let go of your worries, allowing your natural state of joy to arise spontaneously in your mind, and it guides all your thoughts, words, and actions. This joy is a state that powerfully and positively affects the quantum field in which we all seem to live as human beings. Joy consistently experienced leads to the second symptom of enlightenment, which is the regular occurrence of miracles, or what we translate as corrections in alternative non-Christian language. We call them called synchronicities, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called flow, Yeshua refers to as miracles. Beneficent events and strange coincidences, such as seemingly random meetings with people that give us a deeper understanding of truth and benefit us in so many other ways. So it's to tap into that flow and notice it and go, okay, I'm noticing that this is happening more and more in my life. These are not random events, but a result of the remembrance of love's guidance that we can choose to listen to or not. So try this quick mind training exercise to help you see this for yourself. So pause for a moment, take a deep breath through your nose. And then let's do this now. Yeah? So we'll do a little mini meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So just record this as a All right, so just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Just bring to mind a situation in which you felt an inner nudge or a persistent urge, and you denied it, preparing to listen to the voice of reason. Then again, just really feel into that situation. So what does it feel like? Try and relive it. What's the feeling? What's the energy of it? Try and take yourself back to that time, place. Put yourself in that situation as much as you can. Where were you? What did it feel like? Who were you with? What were you seeing? What were you touching? Just breathing in again. And feel into the situation. What was the feeling that arose? Try and re-experience those feelings briefly, even if they're unpleasant. So maybe you feel stuck, feel frustrated, angry. And so just consider what was that outcome like? Was it a good outcome? Did you suffer because of it? Are you re-experiencing some of that suffering right now as a result of not listening to this inner nudge, this intuition? And just really clock that in your mind. Yeah, I didn't listen and I suffered as a result. Now breathe in again. Just holding all of this briefly in mind. And now you're going to let it go with the help of your breath, just to clear your mind. So exhale. And just blow it out, the breeze of your breath. Just letting it go, blowing it out into the nothingness that it always is. Going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And just resting in peace and stillness for a few moments. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about. So just breathe, relax, be still. Clear your mind. Now, take another nice deep breath in through your nose. And think back to an event in your life. Remember a situation which you felt an inner nudge, maybe even a persistent call to do something that probably would not have made rational sense at the time. And what happened when you listened to this nudge or call? So you felt the nudge, take yourself back. Or was it maybe there was a difficulty that you arose? You felt this guidance. And how did that feel for you? Okay, and re-experience those feelings. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? Try and imagine where you were. Just go back into that situation as much as possible and feel it. deeply and notice what those thoughts and feelings are like compared with the previous feeling where you denied that intuition. Notice how the situation worked out. Maybe something good happened on the level of form, the problem was resolved, a miracle happened, something completely unexpected, a surprise that you couldn't have planned or predicted when you listened to the nudge. And this is one of the hallmarks of a genuine miracle or correction. It happens without your conscious intentional planning, and you choose to listen to your intuition, which is the remembrance of love or oneness that is always guiding you to have experiences that lead you to a greater awareness of oneness and love. So just reflect on that briefly, breathe it in. Just take a minute's silence and just experience that feeling completely. Whatever it was, just arising in your mind, your heart, feel into it. And just learn the lesson that to follow your intuition and inner guidance is smart. It's something that helps you. And then open your eyes. So, hi, John. Welcome. How are you?
Oh, hi, John. Hi, Elaine.
Hi, John.
Well,
Hi, John.
just a little meditation. That was
Okay.
good timing. Yeah, I just took Elaine through this intuition meditation. Um,
Oh, hmm.
yeah. So any feedback on that, Elaine? What?
Well, at the moment, yeah, I mean, I've had those inner nudges, and I tend to be a person that does follow them. But at this moment, I'm calling to this inner nudge at this moment with my current situation, which it's just blocked. It's just, I still feel trapped, is the word. There's little nudges are coming up saying, do this and do that, but it still doesn't feel like it's totally coming from the Holy Spirit. So I got a little nudge that, as like there with this current situation, get in touch with the like-minded people. So I've sort of done that, but it still doesn't feel. Do you know what I mean? When it's a weight off your shoulders, that feeling. Yes. Yeah. So
Did you do it as I was guiding? So you went into the past and went, okay, so I'll go into a situation and just re-experience it and feel that.
Oh,
and
yes.
then
Yeah, no, I've had those where I've followed the inner nudge, and I do believe I'm pretty good at that. Yeah, but when I'm in a situation where I feel trapped, then that one's more difficult.
Yeah, sure.
Because my inner nudge would just like to run away. But
Yeah,
obviously I have responsibilities. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Understand.
Yeah. So Yeah, I got a little one,
So
but
the idea of the exercise is just to kind of start to understand, know what it feels like, the difference
oh
between the
yes,
two.
yeah, no, I do know.
You can
Yeah,
discern.
yeah, no, I can. Yes,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, you can. You just it just comes up, and you just know that that's the right route to follow.
mm.
And normally, I like to say I'm pretty good, but for some reason, this situation is a block.
Yeah, because it's particularly difficult
Yeah, yeah, this
being,
feeling
special
of being
relations so
trapped.
close to home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feeling trapped
and it's
and
always
all.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So that one's still to be worked on. So I'm waiting for that inner nudge there to see where all
yeah.
concerned are loved and happy. Yeah,
Mm, mm. Okay. Well, just ask for the guidance. You never know when it will come. It
yeah.
can come in a meditation, or it can come just randomly. I had a very profound one once when I was chopping vegetables, which is sort of quite meditative. I suppose I'm making a salad, and then suddenly it's like, oh, yeah, that's what I must do. Bing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought comes in, it kind of settled. It was like, how does that feel? Yeah, that feels right. It feels peaceful. Feels like the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
it absolutely was. If I hadn't acted on that, I would have the whole community may not have happened. It was quite an important nudge to follow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can happen at any time, and I think we just have to be awake and aware.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
parables Jesus told was about the women who waiting for the bridegroom, and that they have oil lamps, and they're sitting and they're keeping the oil going because they're waiting. So it's like, okay, so be vigilant, be watchful, be aware. That's really the message of that parable.
Mhm.
And the oil is your true awareness, your Holy Spirit that is always there, keeping you awake to these the guidance that can come. So having done the session, done the meditation, this evening, tomorrow, the weekend, because we haven't got another session till Sunday. Just the next 2 days, really just be awake and aware to the guidance, as and when it might come. It can come in many ways. It could just be a thought pops into your head. That's kind of, where did that come from? It could be a conversation you have with someone. It could be a social media post, a billboard, a signpost, an email, a text message. You just don't know. But if
Mhm.
you ask, you say, okay, I'm asking for guidance, as Yeshua says in today's quote, uh, know that you will receive, and just be then very open to have the channel open for that reception, so that you are ready to receive whatever the guidance is, in whatever format it comes, and it will, inevitably. There's always guidance. Yeah. So, John, any have you had any experiences with following your intuition, and then not following your intuition? I think you once mentioned in this context a situation where you were going flying, or paragliding or something, and
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
you didn't you didn't listen, and then you got injured. Do you want to share that experience, maybe?
Oh yeah. Well, I was in Turkey actually, and it was towards the end of the holiday, and I was on a yoga holiday with Sue, and several of the other people, well, five or six of them, thought there was a conversation brewing up about going paragliding, and I thought, oh well,
Hmm.
I'll give that a go, and so I signed up for it as well, and then we went into the local small town, and to the place that did that organized it, and
Hmm.
was a very distasteful person running the place, and he was a bit short with everybody, and told one person to go off and get some proper shoes, but I mean it was 5 minutes before we were going to set off, so it was a desperate thing
Hmm.
to do. we got on the bus to go up the mountain, and the pilots, because it was all going to be paragliding with a pilot, and all the guys, all the pilots, they were just kind of looking, they were just totally bored and fed up and disinterested, and all the time I was getting this feeling of I shouldn't be doing this,
Yeah.
right from the start,
Oh.
and uh, and then we
But you
we
didn't listen for some reason.
I didn't. I should have just pulled out. But
Yeah.
and then it just got worse. We got to the top of the mountain, and it was just chaos. And I said, well, who am I with? What am I supposed to be doing? And this guy who seemed to be somewhat in charge said, I'll go over there with him, and and I'm about to jump off this mountain with this guy that I don't know.
Where was Sue in all this? Was she going like, what are you
No,
doing?
she didn't come. She didn't come.
Yeah.
She was the sensible one. And
Yeah.
anyway, it kind of, yeah, it gave me this kind of very, very brief intro to what to do. He said, well, you kind of pull this cord, but whatever you do, don't pull this one. I said, well, hang on, but just so quickly, like you couldn't
Yeah.
take it in.
Yeah.
And then we kind of, he said, okay, we're going to just take a few uh, quick steps towards the edge, and which we did. But then this another guy just it the sail wasn't taking off properly, so we had to abort, and then start again, and then we started again, and I had these Swedish uh, sandals on, um, and they kind of have a rocking motion, which is kind of great as a sandal. But I fell, I tripped over. I didn't actually hit the ground, but I kind of stumbled
Mm.
uh, just as we were just before we took off, and
Right. And you got dragged.
so I kind of upset the motion of the
Mm.
wind getting into the sail. But it was too late. We'd taken off, and
Mm.
and we suddenly dipped. And we were going down, and I thought, oh, gee. But the wind did take, and as we were going down, my pilot was screaming, "Ah, I'm too young to die." He didn't speak much English, but he managed to say that. But then
Yeah.
the wind did pick us up, and we just missed this other mountain top, and eventually came down.
Too
But
lucky to survive. So it sounds like it was sort of
it
a
was
close
absolutely
call.
bloody horrendous. It was horrendous. But actually, when I stumbled before takeoff, I actually broke my ankle. So
Yeah.
I was in severe pain on the way down, and I thought, well,
Yeah.
what the hell am I going to do when we hit the ground?
Yeah.
Because and but he
Break
did
an
actually,
ankle.
yeah. But he did bring us down gently, and I managed just to kind of hobble
Mm.
off on one leg actually. But I had a broken ankle. I had to get back to Turkey. I was in plaster, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So if you listen to the nudge, okay, this isn't a good idea. Just pull out. Would have saved
yeah,
a lot of pain and suffering. But that's often how we learn, unfortunately. So, when you get the guidance in future, it's like, okay, well, perhaps I should, listen to that. There's a voice, isn't there? There's something that just knows. And
yeah,
it's a different from fear. Fear is like, it's an imagined, oh, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. It's not really that. It's just like, no, this isn't a good idea. Do you know what I mean? You just get a feeling like, no, this just really isn't a good idea. So just, stop. And that's, that's there for your protection.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I would have had to decide early on because once I was on the bus,
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Well, initially, that
yeah,
initial encounter was like, okay, this isn't, this
yeah,
this isn't actually right. I had once a guy who scammed me, and the first meeting we had a coffee, and he just walked off and he didn't offer to pay at all. And that was a red flag and an alarm bell. And I should have gone, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to pursue this because
yeah,
he's no thought for like, okay, hang on, I'll offer to pay. It was just like walked off, didn't even offer. That was immediately. I should have just pulled out the transaction there.
yeah,
But in some ways, I'm glad I went through with it because I saw exactly then how a scam is done, and it was a great learning. It was like, okay, I now understand a lot more than I did. So, I'm not sorry I did it because all of these, things are there to teach you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so, that's the benefit. Although it was, there was some pain and suffering at the time because I did lose some money, not fortune, fortunately. It was a very, very good life lesson. It's like, okay, I've learned a lot from that. More than like, you know, I, any university course or formal academic teaching or can teach you because you've actually experienced it and you've seen how it's
yeah,
constructed and you've seen also how your own false thoughts and emotions led you into it. That I only really had myself to blame because the signs were there and I didn't listen to them. And it was almost like something in me was like, I know, but I'm going to go through this with this anyway, just because I need the lesson. It was kind of weird. Afterwards,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
how did I do that? I kind of knew, but then there was a part of me that overrode it. And was that because I was greedy? Because obviously there's some money involved that I could have made. Or was it actually on a deeper soul level? It was like I needed that lesson, which was a correction, because it did actually really correct my course. I got a bit lost in this kind of deal making and I just cut it off that. I was like, okay, I need to get out of that. I need to move away from it and I need to get myself back on some kind of, proper spiritual track. And it did serve that purpose. It did get me back on track, no doubt. So then you go, well, okay, I obviously needed that experience in order to get back on track. So maybe I was listening on some deeper level to an inner nudge because I needed that lesson to change. If I'd gone, no, it's a scam, and it wouldn't have been enough of a lesson to probably change my course. You know what I mean?
no, no,
So it can get quite subtle, like in that case. Maybe I was actually listening to a deeper inner nudge. Although the part of me was saying, don't do it. There was another part that, then there was the ego saying, yeah, do it because there's money here and you need it. And then there was an even deeper level saying, okay, but it's a scam, but go through with it anyway because this is going to teach you the lesson you need to learn. And so it's like all these levels and they're playing out
yeah,
simultaneously. And then you have to sort of discern in all of that, okay, what is actually, the right thing?
yeah,
And I guess the right thing is what happened. That's inevitably where you say, well, that was obviously meant to happen. I needed that lesson, even if it was on the level of form, not a positive outcome. And then any situation where you've really listened to a call, say, okay, I got a nudge and I went with it and it worked out really well. It was a miraculous outcome. If you want to share that quickly.
What's that, John? What's that? Say again?
So the opposite, which we just did in a meditation, is when you did feel an inner nudge or a call and you
Oh,
listened,
right, okay.
you listened
Yeah,
to
yeah.
guidance, and
Oh,
then
yeah, okay,
what
okay,
happened
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
how did
Oh,
that play out? So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the opposite.
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, I remember. I, it's I've had a few instances of that. Um, I remember when I was leaving university. Well, I did a postgraduate thing in business, and I was sharing a flat with a couple of guys, and one of them was I was having a conversation with him, and he was writing off to various banks actually in Frankfurt because he wanted to go and work in Germany for a while. And
Mhm.
and the voice in me just said, "Oh, wow, yes, 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 yes. Um, I want to do that in Paris,
Yeah.
not a bank." Um,
Mm.
and I wanted to get a proper job. Um, so I did write off. Actually, it was sent out I got a CV together, and it just felt really good. And I sent out, I don't know, 20 or 30 letters, and a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call early in the morning saying that, oh, you've written to Mr. So and so, the MD. He's in London tonight, and he's got an hour. Do you want to meet him? I said,
Mm.
yeah. I went along and met him, and I got so nervous I struggled to speak any French. But he said, well, if you're serious, come and see me in Paris, which I did 2 or 3 months later, and then he gave me a job.
Yeah. So it was
Uh,
all in flow and guided. Something
yeah,
something told you to
it really did.
take
I mean,
the steps.
it was a job that, I mean, it couldn't have been better, really. Yeah.
Mm. And that put you on the path to eventually starting your business.
Yeah. Well, it opened up my horizons, really. I mean, living abroad is always a great experience, I think, especially,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I was 25 at the time, so
Mm. Mm.
it really broadened my horizons, actually, in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of ways.
Funny, I did the same thing. I came to the UK when I was 23. Went a couple of years, and it was difficult. So I didn't have much money, and I was a professional squash player. I was away from home, and I was tempted to go back after a couple of months, but I was like, no, you know what? I have to stick this through. I'm very glad I did because it kind of it does, grows you. I've got a
Yeah.
different perspective, a bigger perspective on life. I've had that experience. It builds your confidence. You're like, actually, I can handle life away from my parents and my family and this whole comfort zone. And no doubt prepared me for, 20 years later, 15 years later, I went back again and, started a new life there. So it was all part of the life plan for you. That's the
Mm.
thing. When you're in the flow, it's like it's all part of a plan, but you can't see the whole plan. But it's
No.
unfolding exactly as it should when you're in flow.
Mhm.
And even when you're not in flow, that's then part of that's a lesson, which then forms part of the ultimate plan for your life. So you never abandon. The guidance is always there, even in the difficult parts. It's just then, okay, well, you needed that lesson to listen and open up more to the Holy Spirit. Okay, yeah. So, Elaine, anything to share on that? Otherwise, let's jump into our
No, it was good to listen. Yeah. Yeah.
lesson for today, which is lesson 327. Okay, so let's share my screen. Where are we? 327. There we go. Okay, so all right, so let's go straight into the lesson today. I'm supposed to be going at 6. Maybe we can extend that by half an hour, but got a dinner date with a friend. So, yeah, John, if you can read that lesson for us
I
in the
need
original
but
alternative, first paragraph.
I need but call and you will answer me. I only need to call and perfect love will answer me.
Um, Very, related to what we've just been discussing. Ask today's quote was ask and you shall receive, knock and the door will be opened. Seek and you'll find, knock and the door will be opened. It's one of Yeshua's most famous quotes. from the New Testament. He's talking about this call, or this asking. Perfect love will answer me when I call. Okay, and if you can read the original and the alternative of that line by line, sentence by sentence.
I am not asked to take salvation on the basis of an unsupported faith. I am not asked to awaken on the basis of an unsupported faith. For God has promised he will hear my call and answer me himself. The pure formless awareness of perfect love has promised it will hear my call and answer me itself. Let me but learn from my experience that this is true, and faith in him must surely come to me. Let me only learn from my experience that this is true, and faith in this loving presence must surely come to me. This is the faith that will endure and take me farther and still farther on the road that leads to him. This is the faith that will endure and take me further and further down the road that leads to pure formless awareness of perfect love. For thus I will be sure that he has not abandoned me and loves me still, awaiting but my call to give me all the help I need to come to him. And so I will be sure that it has not abandoned me and loves me still, awaiting only my call to give me all the help I need to come to it.
And then from the top, an alternative.
I am not asked to awaken on the basis of an unsupported faith. The pure formless awareness of perfect love has promised it will hear my call and answer me itself. Let me only learn from my experience that this is true, and faith in this loving presence must surely come to me. This is the faith that will endure and take me further and further down the road that leads to pure formless awareness of perfect love. And so I will be sure that it has not abandoned me and loves me still, awaiting only my call to give me all the help I need to come to it.
Yeah, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very reassuring paragraph. And is saying that, test it out, test this, test out this whole thing, because if you genuinely ask, you will be heard.
Exactly. Yeah. As he said, ask and you shall receive. Today's quote, which I'll share with you briefly because you weren't here. So perhaps read that one because it goes very well with the lesson.
Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened.
Yeah, guidance. One of Yeshua's most famous quotes, actually, really saying, "Listen, ask for the guidance, and it will be there." Very reassuring, no matter what the difficulty or the challenges. It's always there, and our job is just to keep the faith that it's there. This is the faith that will endure and take me further and further down the road. It leads to pure formless awareness. So today's lesson is really, this is the final outcome of this course, is to be able to ask and listen to the guidance continuously, which leads you then on the road to the eventual pure formless awareness of perfect love. So he leaves us in lesson 362. Let's just bring up that. So let's get this going. Lesson 362, mind training lesson. There we go. I'll just bring up, so it's taking a while. Okay, lesson 363. So we looked at this again, but again, in this context, it's definitely worthwhile reading again, because this is where he leaves us in the hands of the final 5 lessons. He's really saying, just let it go and trust and listen to the guidance. So if you want to read that.
This holy instant would I give to you. Be you in charge, for I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. I am wholly aware now and every moment. I allow my true self to be in charge, and I follow only its guidance, knowing that it brings me peace.
Yeah. Short commentary on that.
And
just read it in the alternative.
Yeah, the remembrance of perfect love will give me the words I need to help me. It will also give me a thought whenever I need one. And if I need only stillness and a tranquil open mind, these are the gifts I will receive from it. It is in charge by my request, and it will hear and answer me because it speaks for pure formless awareness of perfect love, my source, and its innocent extension.
This is the final 5 lessons, final outcome of the this course. This is where he leaves us in the hands of the Holy Spirit. He's saying, whatever you need will be given to you. And the entire course is designed to train your mind into the state so that you are open, you're receptive to guidance, and you can listen and receive that guidance moment by moment, which is then the miraculous state of mind, or the flow state that is what the course is designed to achieve. And that leads you, as he says in today's lesson, that leads you further and further down the road towards the ultimate awakening to God, pure formless awareness of perfect love. So if you're following guidance, you know that you're on track. Ultimately, the dream will be undone entirely. You will just merge back in to this awareness. But he can't teach us that. That will happen as a consequence of following this path and following the guidance of the Holy Spirit. So it's a very comforting lesson, isn't it? And just there to help us realize that no matter what's happening, the guidance is always there. We can just ask for the guidance, call upon it, and it will be there in whatever form, way, shape, or form. And then our job is to keep the faith and be open. Don't allow fear to come in and block the channel to receive that guidance, because that's what fear tries to do. So then it consumes your thoughts and emotions, and it blocks out the guidance that wants to come through. Okay, so if you read happy to go to number 2. It's just a short prayer.
Father, I thank you that your promises will never fail in my experience, if I but test them out. Let me attempt, therefore, to try. My source, I thank you that your promises will never fail in my experience, if I just test them out. Let me attempt, therefore, to try them, and to judge them not. Therefore I will do so and not judge them. Your word is one with you. Your message is one with you. You give the means whereby conviction comes, and surety of your abiding love is gained at last. You give the means whereby conviction comes to me, and I become sure of your eternal love at last.
And then from the top, in the alternative.
Yes, my source, I thank you that your promises will never fail in my experience if I just test them out. Therefore, I will do so and not judge them. Your message is one with you. You give the means whereby conviction comes to me, and I become sure of your eternal love at last.
Yeah. So, thoughts on that?
But it's just saying that, if you test out your trust in spirit, it will pay off and reinforce confidence in it and trust in it.
Yeah. So it's an experiential journey. The more we do it, and the more we see the results in our lives, the more we believe.
Yes.
We start to come to know experientially. Okay, yes, this is true because in my own experience, I've experienced the difference between listening to guidance and being in flow, being miracle minded, and not being out of that. And it's a big difference. And it's pretty obvious which one I prefer. And so that's how you learn experientially to accept the Holy Spirit more and more into your life and awaken systematically and progressively into pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is awaits you at the end of the journey. But the course is very practical. He's saying, well, that is not a teaching God. I can't teach you that. He says that will come when you're ready. So in the meantime, let's focus, our efforts on what you can learn, which is this way of living, miracle-minded, flow state way of living. And this course, could be called a course in flow, course in miracles, because miracles are flow. A course in flow. It's about how to stay miracle minded in flow, not let the ego get to you, and keep listening to the guidance. And that's what the mind training is designed to produce. Someone who is just able to listen to guidance continuously, and whatever challenges happen in your life, you just flow through them by letting go. The art of letting go is the art of flow. And that's what the teaching is directed to. And then, the rest will follow. The revelation of pure formless awareness of perfect love will come in time when you're ready. And eventually you will lay your body aside and you'll just merge back into it. But that will happen, when you're ready. In the meantime, the mind training is directed towards this. And so, he reiterates that over and over. And in these last lessons, it's increasingly, it's okay. So this is where I'm leaving you. You must trust. You must follow the guidance. And then, if you're listening to guidance, the Holy Spirit in charge, what more is needed? You're in the hands of the one guide that is going to show you the way home, and you can never lose your way. The practice is just to keep listening to that guidance. Like, okay, well, I've got to keep practicing to let go of the ego, which tries to interfere with that guidance, so that I can keep listening and stay on track. And so, that's why an ongoing practice is useful, because inevitably the ego is going to try and come in and sabotage that guidance and challenge it. And so you need to keep practicing to stay clear and open, keep emptying your vessel so that you can listen to the guidance and it can continues to be filled by the spirit, which is to live a truly inspired life. Okay, so any other thoughts on that one?
No, it's very positive.
So we've got another sort of half an hour, 40 minutes maybe. We can do a meditation on this and then close the session there, or we could have a look at the purpose, processes, and practice psychotherapy supplement, which is, we're on the, I think it's the last section. And this is, where are we? Question of payment. What are we looking at? 6, 7, 8 paragraphs. So what do you want to do, John? Do you want to do this or do a meditation?
Let's do a meditation, I think.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just some recording going. Okay. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting in your normal meditation posture, back straight, feet shoulder width apart. Cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. It's a maximal inhale breath. Squeeze the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine to your heart center and draw it up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind, smile. Noticing any thoughts, any emotions, any related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricted in any way. Breathing in. And just scan your mind, notice any of those thoughts, those emotions. Be willing to let them go now. With the help of today's lesson, so remind yourself that I only need to call a perfect love will answer me. I need to call for help, for guidance, and perfect love will answer me. So if you have anything that's difficult in your life, problem that seems to be sticky, just breathe in, call for guidance, and be willing to let it go. Exhale, blow it all out. Lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And just rest here in this deep peace and stillness for a few moments. Now listen to these words, short commentary on the lesson from Yeshua. So you're going to breathe in as I speak the words, hold the breath briefly as I'm speaking them, and then when I stop speaking, you exhale out through the nose and repeat the words aloud as affirmations to yourself. So breathing in. I'm not asked to awaken on the basis of an unsupported faith. Exhale out through the nose, repeat those words. I'm not asked to awaken on the basis of an unsupported faith. Breathe in again. Therefore, God, pure formless awareness of perfect love, has promised it will hear my call and answer me itself. Exhale out through the nose. Repeat those powerful words. Pure formless awareness of perfect love has promised it will hear my call and answer me itself. Breathing in, let me only learn from my experience. And this is true. And faith in this loving awareness must surely come to me. And exhale, repeat those words. Let me only learn from my experience that this is true. So we learn experientially by practicing and applying its teaching to our daily lives, practical situations that crop up. Faith in this loving awareness must surely come to me. Breathing in again. This is the faith that will endure, take me further and further down the road. That leads to pure formless awareness of perfect love. There's a faith that will endure and take me further and further down the road that leads to pure formless awareness of perfect love. Breathing in again. And so I will be sure that it has not abandoned me, loves me still, awaiting only my call to give me all the help I need to come to it. Let's feel into this. There's this loving awareness that's always there to guide you. Whatever you need, whatever help you need in any situation, you'll be given it. Might just be a thought, guidance as to what to do, what to say. You might need some material assistance, help from someone, financial assistance, whatever. It's always there when you need it. So now I'll give thanks for that in the short prayer, breathing in again. And my source, I thank you. Exhale, repeat those words aloud. My source, addressing your innermost being, who you really are. I thank you that your promises will never fail in my experience if I just test them out. Breathing in again. Therefore, I will do so and not judge them. Therefore, I will do so and not judge them. Breathing in again. Your message is one with you. Your message is one with you. The source and its message are one in your awareness. And you give the means whereby conviction comes to me. And I become sure of your eternal love at last. Repeat those powerful words. You give the means whereby conviction comes to me, through which conviction comes to me. And I become sure of your eternal love at last. And exhale on the truth of that, and sinking inwards to this eternal love. It's a loving awareness in your own mind. Feel it in your heart. Put one hand in your heart center. If any thoughts come up, intrude on this deep peace of eternal love, then just be aware of them and dismiss them once you become aware of them. Breathing in to them, breathe this eternal loving awareness into those thoughts and remind yourself that I only need to call and perfect love will answer. And so you need not fear anything. Just blow it away, dismiss it as the illusory nonsense it is. So do that now by exhaling. Imagine you blowing it out. A dark cloud of black smoke just leaving you, just going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Just letting it go. The breeze of your breath to the nothingness that really is. To reveal the blue sky beyond the clouds. The blue sky is unaffected by any clouds. It's like your pure formless awareness of perfect love is unaffected by any negative thoughts in the mind and egoic thoughts. It remains pristine, pure, holy in your awareness, always. And so just rest for a few moments in this deeper awareness. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. Surrender into this eternal loving presence. Call upon it now. Ask for perfect love to reveal itself to you and answer you. Whatever your need is, know that it will be met at the perfect time, not necessarily immediately, but when you need it in perfect time, because you need only call perfect love will answer you. So it is. So rest in this certainty of eternal love for a couple of minutes of deep connected silence. So just gently coming back, deep connected state, to an awareness of the body, the breath, the senses, and the world. And on the count of 3, and then open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pulls at the top of the inhale. Exhale, blow it out. Just letting it go, whatever is still there that is not welcome. Just release on the count of 2. Sending it out like dark clouds or black smoke. Leaving you, it's going, gone. All the stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. Just rest. Bottom of the exhale, feel the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose as you breathe in. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state. State of mind about visions, a state of mind. Only the truth is true. Anchor that state in, set the intention to stay here for the rest of the evening, afternoon, evening, or into your weekend. To help you do that, use today's lesson to top you up. Just remind yourself of the lesson, whether you feel you're going out of the flow, whether you feel you need guidance. You can use the meditation or the breath break to listen to help you to do that. So it is said and so it is done. Now on the count of 3, open your eyes. So just look around. Take a minute just to observe what's in the room around you. It's a very calm, detached way. So looking at any object randomly, don't make any attempt to select anything particularly or avoid anything. And notice that this underlying peaceful feeling that you have experienced quite deeply in the last 20 minutes is still there, even though your eyes are open. You can close your eyes briefly, drop into that, maybe experience it a bit more deeply. Open your eyes, but try and stay in that awareness, that loving, peaceful awareness, whether your eyes are closed, open, look around the room at another half a dozen objects, just for a few seconds for each object at a time, closing your eyes and opening your eyes as you want to, and notice that this loving awareness and this deeply peaceful feeling is there, whether your eyes are open, closed, and irrespective of what you're looking at, whether it's animate or inanimate, whether there's a person in the room or not. It doesn't really matter, but the same peaceful, loving awareness is always there. And so you learn experientially that this awareness is always there for you to call upon, and it will answer you in a way that is helpful for you, as a thought, as a feeling, as might come as a conversation with someone else, or a text message, or an email, or a signpost or something you see in the TV program, in the radio, here on the radio, whatever. It's always there for you. And that is indeed very comforting. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and I think today's session. So thank you, John, for joining. If you're interested in the supplement, just read it yourself. It doesn't directly apply to you. Today's lesson is about the question of payment. If you're a healer or therapist, neither of which applies to you, but it might be interesting nevertheless, because he talks about some of the principles. So have a read of it, and maybe we can discuss it on Sunday during Sunday session if you want. So yeah, I'll do an afternoon session on Sunday. If you can make that at 12:30 or 1, is that doable for you?
In theory, I think so, Jono. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully see you then. Let me just stop the recording. Just want to have a quick chat about our other business. So let's pause there. Stop that. Okay, stop.